Hello and welcome to the channel. DeWalt sent me the 2600 PSI Jobsite pressure washer to check out. So let's do that. We're going to take a look at it, all the features of it, and we're going to use it quite a bit. So let's get started.
Down in the dirt. Real bad.
All right, let's start with the unboxing. The unboxing is just about as simple as it can possibly be. You open up the box, pull out the pressure washer. It's in a bag. Take the bag off and you're ready to go. No assembly required. What they've done is they have put a spot for everything that you need on your pressure washer on this frame. And it has wheels underneath it, so you can move it around. And here's the nice feature. I can do it with one hand. It has a handle on it. Isn't that cool? So you can roll it around like your suitcase in the airport. So let's take a look at some of the things that are on here. First off, the pressure hose is coiled up. There's a spot for it to go under here. There are some wire ties that you need to take off the first time you use it, but it does have a Velcro loop. So when you go to put it away, all you have to do is coil up your hose, use this Velcro strap to tie it, and then put it in here. The connectors, standard connectors. Here's your output. That's where this hose goes on. Let's keep moving it around. Spot to wind up the cord. Cord looks like it's about 15 feet or so, so your connector, your plug, you can keep that out of the water area. I do recommend that you use an extension cord that's at least 14 gauge, up to probably 25 feet. And then if you need a longer extension cord, I suggest you go to a 12 gauge for 50 feet or so. Just because this is a 2,600 pound machine, it does take 13 amps of current. If you use too small of an extension cord, like a 16 gauge, you can get a voltage drop when you're using this, which may burn out the motor in it. So coming around, this is your water intake. This is where you hook your garden hose up to. So it comes with a soap dispenser, and it's a foamer. So you put your solution in here, mix it with water, and put this on the end of your wand, and then it creates a nice foam solution to spray on that you can let soak and then use your pressure washer to clean it. This one has an on and off on it. Looks like it has just a regular orifice, standard size. I personally have one that has a variable orifice on it, so if I'm using different types of chemicals. But for this pressure washer, I think this is going to work really well. So, fits nice. Here's the fun part. Let me put the handle down. In here, push this door. In here, flip this little, okay. Okay, inside this door, flip this little lever, it opens up. Here's all your tips and your wands and everything else. So let's drag them out and take a look. Let's look at the handle first. The handle's kind of nice because it has the tips all right here on the handle. You don't have to go hunting for your tips if you want to change your tips. Everything is capped coming from the factory, so that's nice. It does have a safety on it, and the safety down here, I haven't quite figured it out yet, but it looks like, okay, you can lock it, press it down, ready to go. The tips are marked. It comes with a 15, a 25, and a 40. The 40 is good for wide area stuff like doing the side of your house. The 25 is good for like washing your car, and the 15 is for getting grease off your lawn tractor or your implements, all that type of stuff. They say this is a job site pressure washer, so I think their intention is to clean up stuff around the work site, you know, gas-powered generators, all that type of stuff, shovels, rakes, that type of stuff. So that's where the 15 degree comes in. Also, here's your long tip. Here's your handle part. And your long tip. And it has a turbo tip. So the turbo is a spinner. It makes the water go around and it cleans really fast. I like to use this on sidewalks and stuff like that because it does a real good job and it does it pretty quickly. So we'll try out all these different tips. I have equipment here that's going to use all of it, including the side of a house. So as we move along, we'll get that done. That's about it. Nothing else on it. Nice and simple. Everything is nice and compact. One thing I like about it is you can transport it really easy. You can pick it up just about any way you want. It weighs maybe 15 pounds at the most, so it's fairly lightweight. And you can also stack stuff on it. In other words, this frame is solid enough that you can put stuff on top of it or put it on the top of the stack. Any questions? Let me start putting this together and getting it ready to go, and we'll go out and do some cleaning. Before we go outside, let's talk about the cleaning solution. There's at least 100 different types of cleaning solutions out there for pressure washers, stuff like that. Just about all of them are concentrate, so you have to mix that with water when you put it in your foamer. For some reason, DeWalt is thinking they must sell this only in anywhere but the United States because there's no cups marked on this. It's only in liters. So this container is 800 milliliters. This concentrate, which by the way is Simpson concentrate, that's what my local Tractor Supply carries. I have a heavy duty cleaner. It'll work as a degreaser and other things. They do make a degreaser for it. Or Simpson does make a degreaser. They also make a mold and mildew cleaner for doing the side of your house. But today we're just going to use this general purpose cleaner. Always read the directions on these bottles. Each brand and sometimes each type has different mixing ratios. For example, for this one, for general purpose cleaning, they say 1 part of this in 15 parts water. So that works out to like 1/8 of a cup in here for this 100 milliliter little bottle here, and put water in the rest of it. So what are we going to clean? We're going to clean a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to use the foamer and the different tips to do different things. When you get ready to use your pressure washer, hook your hose up, hook your output hose up, walk back on your hose, and before you turn it on, make sure there's no kinks in the hose, so you always get plenty of water coming to your pressure washer. Turn the pressure on, and then walk the hose down again, make sure there's no kinks. This DeWalt has a on and off switch right here, so it's pretty simple to use. Water in one side, garden hose connector, high pressure side comes out. I like to completely uncoil my hose because that way I'm not tripping over kinks and stuff like that. So you got a lot of hoses and cords and stuff laying around here when you're doing this, and it's easy to be working and forget what's going on and trip. So be careful. For me, I like to keep the electrical out of the water, so I'm lucky here today. I'm working on some other stuff, so I have a place to stick the extension cord connector up out of the water. So what are we gonna do today? Well, we're gonna see if we can get the mulch stain out of the inside of my ox cart. We're gonna see if we can clean up this bird bath. I'm pretty sure the bowl will clean up okay, but I don't know if that's a paint or what that is on the vertical column. It may not touch that. Then we're going to do a car. I know this car engine has not been cleaned for at least 10 years, maybe longer. It's a 2011. It may have never been cleaned, so we're going to foam this down, let it set for a few minutes, and then see how it does. On the cart, we're just going to use a general or the turbo tip. On this cement, we're going to use the fine tip because we want as much pressure as we can. On the car, again, we're going to use the turbo tip because I don't want to get too much pressure around the electrical components and stuff like that. Will it wash the side of your car? I'm sure it will. Do you even want to see that? You probably want to look for more regular cleaning. I got a piece of industrial equipment here, the old Toro Workman. It could use a little bath, so we'll clean up around the engine and stuff like that. It doesn't leak any oil, so generally it's pretty clean. What else are we going to do? Oh, you can see the mold and mildew on this north side of this house. Let's take care of that. This sidewalk I know is dirty because it had flood water on it 4 days ago, so I'm sure we can clean that up well. And then finally, well, it's sitting way over there in the corner yet, I have a farm tractor. We'll go ahead and see what we can do to clean that up. Do the tires and the engine and around the hydraulic areas. How's that sound? This should give you a good idea what this little pressure washer can do. Let's start with the car. Once you turn the pressure washer on, it'll make a little noise and then it'll stop as it builds all its pressures up. It doesn't sit there and run and run and run like the gas engines. The only time that it runs is when you pull the trigger on the handle. And I know you can't see it back here, but I'm putting the foamer on. And let's foam this engine down nice. Okay, this is the supplied foamer that comes with the pressure washer. And I mix this at about a 1-to-10 ratio for the general purpose Simpson cleaner. So let's see how it foams. And you need to make for sure and you need to make for sure that you got the foamer on all the way and the ring is back. Otherwise it'll pop off on you. That happens with your tips. A lot of times you got to go hunting for your tips because they're about 30 feet away. All right, let that soak for a minute or two. I'm going to put the turbo head on it. This is the turbo head, and it's good for general purpose, high pressure stuff like this, because it's not too strong. It won't force water into electrical connections and stuff like that, but yet it's good enough that it should take the grease and all that type of stuff off of this. So all right, while we're waiting for this to soak, let's talk about one item that you should never use a pressure washer on. Electric lawnmowers. Your riding electric lawnmower, your push behind, these autonomous mowers, and the robotic mowers. They're rated for rain. They are not rated for pressurized water. So stay away from them. If you need to clean your machine, just about everybody recommends that you wipe it down with a damp cloth. If you want to clean under the deck, use a stiff bristle brush, not a wire brush, and plastic scrapers to clean under the deck. Don't use a pressure washer. The main reason is that even though some of the electronic circuits are hermetically sealed, they're not sealed rated for using a pressure washer or even a garden hose. So don't do it, it'll ruin them. Okay, I put the turbo tip on. Turbo tip should clean this. Let's start right here with this dirty brake cap. Well, yes, it does a really good job. There's a lot of grease right here around the oil fill, so let's see how it does there. Again, kind of watch your electric components, especially if you know where your coil is at. Kind of stay away from the connectors and so on that, not to get too much water in them. And if you don't like to get wet when you're cleaning stuff, wear a raincoat. Because you will get sprayed on. And it may be dirty, greasy mess too that you get sprayed on with. So this pressure washer does have enough power to peel stickers off. So for example, like over here, I think you can see the battery. Make sure you don't need that sticker that the pressure washer tried taking off. And this machine seems to like to want to stop completely before you pull the trigger again. You go around it. Again, watch your hoses so you don't trip on them if you've never done this before. And inside your engine compartment, you want to do it as at least 3 or 4 different sides, because there's always stuff you miss if you're just doing it from one direction. So far, I like this pressure washer. It's doing a pretty good job. I like the pressure of it, and for what we're doing here, we're just taking our time and doing it right, so we don't need that 2.5 gallons a minute or whatever some of the big expensive ones are. What do you think? I think we got a winner here. All right, so this car's done, and let's move on to something else. I'm going to move this car out of the way, and we'll keep going. Like I said, this pressure washer comes with a 15 degree, a 25 degree, and a 40 degree tip, plus the turbo wand. Let's see how well the 25 degree tip does on this old bird bath. It's not doing that well, so I'm going to switch to the 15 degree and just take and pull this collar back, snap it in, and make sure the collar is pulled ahead to lock, otherwise your tip will pop off and you have to go hunting for it. It'll be somewhere in your yard. Isn't it nice not having to listen to a gas engine? The 15 degree tip does real well. You need to get it about an 1.5 inches, 2 inches away from the material, but it cleans this cement right up. Let's try over here. All right, it does take the dirt off like it's supposed to. It doesn't take that paint off, but I didn't expect it to. All right, I'm not going to waste your time and do the whole thing, but you can see it does work very well. Next, I'm going to put the turbo wand back on. And the garbage truck has always got to stop and do its thing. So I already pre-soaked this equipment here. I got a lawnmower, Aaron's Icon. I've got a Toro Workman, which I consider a commercial vehicle, and then I got a tractor. So let me put the turbo wand on. Well, you know what? First, down along the bottom edge down here. This edge is always really, really tough to get off. So let's see if it does that. See how well it does that. And you may not be able to see it real well, but I'm going to still keep this 15 degree tip on for a minute. right, as I expected, that tip, 2,600 pounds. Yeah, you might have to get and scrub that with a brush to get it all off if you really want it perfectly clean. So I'm going to go ahead and put the turbo wand back on. All right, before I get actually going, why don't I talk about pressure washing your lawnmowers. Like I said before, the electric ones you don't ever want to use a pressure washer on. You're going to get water in the electronics and you're going to just have a mess. With your residential zero turns here, the thing to really be careful about is not get any water around the bearings, any pressurized water. So anything under this cap, underneath the spindle, where the blade bolts on, make sure you don't use the pressure washer in those areas. Why? Because at 2,600 pounds, it can force water into those sealed bearings, and 6 months from now, a couple months from now, you're going to be complaining that your bearings went out on your deck if you do that. So if you have a commercial mower, you can use a pressure washer on it. Just make for sure that you grease your bearings after you've washed your outfit. The grease will force the water back out. So, but you don't have that luxury on a residential mower. All right, so I put the turbo wand on. It makes a nice circular motion and it works for cleaning this type of stuff really well. So let's do some. Shiny. And when you're pressure washing, dirt and stuff blow all over the place, so you may have to clean and rinse a couple times while you're doing it. I'm going to raise this up so I can get underneath it and clean it nice. And then I'll work around this a little bit. So far, so good. I was trying to get that piece off, but I realized finally that's a plug in the tire. I had a hole in the tire, so it's not coming off. Okay, the turbo wand is good for general purpose cleaning, but it's not going to clean the front of this deck. And it's not doing a real good job on the top, so you either want to go to your flat tips like the 25 or the 15, or just take a rag, get this soaked down real good, take a rag and rinse it off, and then wipe it with the rag, and it'll all come clean for you. And I really don't know that any pressure washer that you would want to buy can do this, can clean this deck right by itself. Even the 3500 PSI ones, you're getting into the territory where it'll peel the paint off, but it still won't clean that dirt. So and once you're done getting the stuff, getting it clean, go ahead and go through the whole machine one more time and just rinse it, because there's always going to be something that got blown into a corner somewhere. All right, let's deal with this Workman. This Workman is actually pretty clean. I pressure washed it this last summer to go ahead and so I could work on it when I bought it. But it's still getting a little dusty, and I see a couple little leaks on it for grease, so we might as well clean them off. I did put some degreaser on this 15-20 minutes ago, so that does help quite a bit for cleaning. And you can't see me doing the tire there. Okay. That turbo tip does real well on tires. Alright, I usually do one side, then I'll go around the other side and do it backwards. That way you'll get most of it. Yes, that's a pack-out rack for my Milwaukee toolboxes. I don't care if anybody ever rides with me with this thing. This is my work truck, so I set it so I can put my tools here. I like it. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and do the other side here, and then I'll switch this around and we'll work on this tractor. Alright, this tractor has not been cleaned in forever, but it's not real dirty. It doesn't leak any oil or grease, so it's not in too bad a shape. Oh, that grease does not want to come off with the turbo tip. That grease has been there forever, at least 15 years. So if I want to take that grease off, I'm going to have to go to the 15-degree tip. And I'm not going to do it today because I don't want to get that dirty. That's the problem with pressure washing. It all blows back in your face, even if you're careful. It's not too bad if you're washing your car and stuff like that, but if you're in, like, trying to clean an engine off, all those little nooks and crannies in your engine, that it'll just blow that water right back at you. So. One other thing, if you're doing a radiator on your car or on your tractor or whatever, don't use a 25 or 15-degree tip because it's too strong and it'll actually cut the aluminum fins in there. So use a 40-degree or use this turbo and stay away from it. Good 8 inches to a foot. Then you'll be fine. All right, let's do a little bit on this side and then we'll move on to something else. This brown stuff on this tractor is clay. It's been really wet around here and I was trying to do some landscape work and I just got clay all over this tractor. So that once it hardens up, it's as hard as paint to get off. So let's see how it does on here. Well, you can tell this has got 2,600 pounds because it is taking it off. I gotta get the tip right down there about an inch away, but it'll take it off. Most of the other electric pressure washers I've owned over the years wouldn't do this. So as I'm doing this and thinking about it, this is a great little pressure washer for a homeowner because it'll do just about anything you want it to do. From an industrial side, it'll get the job done. Like cleaning this tractor off, it's doing just fine. I don't know if you have a lot of heavy dirt on it, like a skid steer that's been working in the mud and stuff like that, it's going to take you forever with this 1.2 gallons. But otherwise, just general cleaning of your equipment and stuff, cleaning your mowers, this is not bad. I like it. As you can see, it does take this clay off the side of this rear tire very well and very easily. So what do you think so far? Any comments, any questions? Let's move on to the side of a house. This has got some mildew or some moss on it. This is the north side of a house. So I'm going to spray it down with a mildew cleaner, leave it set for 15-20 minutes, and then we're going to try this turbo wand and see how it cleans. I want to caution you while I'm still thinking about it. Vinyl siding you have to be a little careful with. I would never use the 15-degree tip or the 25-degree tip on vinyl siding. There's enough pressure there that you could cut this siding. It looks pretty, but it's not that tough. You could use the 40-degree one for general purpose cleaning. If it's not cleaning, get a brush on a handle and start scrubbing. You won't have to scrub too hard, and then you'll be able to rinse it with the pressure washer. So just a word of warning, if you're going to use your pressure washer to clean your house, don't use those real high pressure tips. All right, let me soak this down. All right, you might as well see me do this. By the way everything stores inside the unit also makes a good place to just put your wand so you don't have to leave it laying on the ground. I kind of like that. So it's been about 15-20 minutes here. Let's Well, it takes everything off. Not just the green stuff, but it also takes the dirt off, takes the bugs off. There's a lot of bugs up in the cracks, and so it's going to take me a while to get this all clean. Get up towards the top here, you really need to get on a step ladder or use an extension wand. It works really well if you keep the turbo tip about a foot away. So it also does a real good job of cleaning my, you probably can't see it too well there. Let's see, maybe this will help. Let's get it out of the sun there. Okay. Does a real good job of cleaning up this foundation. That old paint that's on it, it's taking that off. It's not taking the original layer of paint off, but it's cleaning it. There's a lot of dirt on it and stuff. So it's going to do a good job. I am going to go ahead and do what I can here, and then we'll do a summary. See you in a little bit. So let's do a summary. What did you think of the DeWalt 2600 PSI 1.1 gallon per minute job site pressure washer? I kind of like it. The last electric one I had was a Snow Joe, and I think that was only 1600 PSI, so it was good for I don't know what. I think I washed lawnmowers with it, and that was about it. As far as working on siding, cleaning off sidewalk, any of that more tougher stuff, it just didn't do the job. This is a lot stronger. This one is as strong as a lot of the gas-powered ones, especially the economy ones that you buy. A lot of them are 26, 2700. Few are 3,000 pounds. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell the difference between 2,600 and 3,000 pounds as far as what it'll clean. So convenience, boy, this thing is sure convenience. I didn't pack it up yet. I just let it sit here. Everything has a spot in it. And once you're done, you can move it around like a suitcase at an airport, and you can pick it up any way you want. You can leave it set any way you want when you're using it. Just overall, it's real user-friendly. Is it a good item for construction? Well, if you're just doing general purpose cleaning, cleaning your tools at night before you put them away, that type of stuff, blowing the dirt and dust off your commercial lawnmowers or your gas-powered tools, that type of stuff, it'll work really well. I think it's pretty efficient at that. I would not expect it to dig dirt and clay out of tracks on a skid steer or something like that. You guys know that already. From a homeowner standpoint, boy, this is a nice little machine. It'll clean your engine, it'll clean your car. It was taking paint off the foundation of this old house, and that paint's been there forever. So it did a real good job of taking that off. It cleaned the siding up as far as I could reach, which was probably close to 10 feet today. It did really good job, and you can see it there. All that green stuff is gone. Sidewalks, it takes the dirt off of sidewalks. 2,600 pounds will not take gum off of sidewalks, just so you know. You need 3,300 pounds or more. That's where a gas-powered unit would come in. Cleaning my industrial equipment, the Toro Workman, it did a very good job. There was some grease that had been on the Boomer, the New Holland, for probably 15 years, and it really didn't want to touch that, but I didn't want to put the 15-degree tip in either. So I think probably what I would do with that is soak that. If I really wanted to clean that, I would soak that with some degreaser for a while, and then it should come off without any problems. But that clay that you won't come off with a garden hose, it definitely took that clay off real nice. Cleaned up the tires real well. After I turned off the machine, I went ahead and did a little bit more cleaning on the sidewalks. This sidewalk you see here, last couple of weeks it's been flooded with rainwater, so there's a lot of sediment on it. It did a pretty quick job of getting that blowed off. That ox cart, that stain that's in there from the red mulch, it won't even touch that, but I have a feeling I have a feeling a pressure washers won't touch that. So I'll have to talk to the guys that make that mulch someday and ask them how to clean that. It cleaned up that bird bath nicely. That was an easy cleaning for it. What else? Personally, I like it. Personally, I would recommend it if this is something that is the size that you want. Gas-powered ones will give you a lot more power, but the really nice thing about this is you don't have to worry about gas power. In other words, you don't have to worry about using it once a year and it won't start on you the next time. Just plug it in. I do recommend that you don't get these out where it's going to freeze. Don't leave them out in the garage in the wintertime here in the Midwest. Put them down in the basement, or even put it in a closet, so it stays out of freezing. All right, anything else? If you like this video, please like it. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. You're welcome to ask any questions in the comment section below. I do moderate the comments, so your comment may not pop up right away, just so you know. All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Down in the dirt.